Welcome to Efiwe, excellence without stress.
Welcome guys to Efiwe, excellence without stress. I am Efiwe, your use of English teacher, and I am happy to be here. If two sprinters can run neck and neck, why can they not run face and face? Funke. Which one is face and face again? Yeah, come, let me explain. You see, neck and neck is an English expression that means exact or equal level. So when we say that two sprinters are running neck and neck, that means they are at the same level, at equal level. Come with me on this class so that I can show you how to interpret words and expression in English language. Interpretation of words and expression is our topic for today. So, what are you expected to do in interpretation of words and expression? When you find questions on this, what are you expected to do? Now, the first thing you must note is that questions on interpretation, they are there to do one thing, and that is to test the reader's understanding of a sentence. So, it tests your understanding, how much you understand what has been written. Now, let me give you these tips for interpretation. The first is that you read the sentence carefully. That is a no-brainer. Of course, you're expected to read the sentence you want to interpret. So, read the sentence carefully. And the second one is that you pay attention to grammar and context. So, you look at the tenses, you also check context, you check register. When you see the question, you also check which field does it fall into? What are the words they are using? Is it a law register? Is it whatever? Is it related to the medical field? Just pay attention to the context, to the environment of usage. It is very important. Then the third tip is that you should interpret the sentence as it is. Just like I wrote here, nobody is asking for your input. So you're not coming to tell us what you think or what you do not think. It's just you are expected to do what, to interpret it as it is. Don't give us your own views. Then another tip is that you must be careful to select the option that best explains the information that is conveyed in the sentence. What does this mean? It means that it is possible that the options you have there, they could be similar, but we are looking for the one that best explains. And that is, it is testing your knowledge, how much you understand the sentence. So look for the one that best explains. We'll see this when we begin to answer questions. Another one is that you will also find idioms in questions that require you to interpret. And you know idioms, so you do not interpret literally. So you do not look at the words on the surface and say, okay, you interpret them based on the individual words. No. Now it's an expression, so you're not expected to interpret them based on their individual words. Another tip is that it is important to learn the meaning of words. There are certain questions that will require you to interpret words. More like just give us another meaning for a word. So if you do not know the meaning of that word, it's going to be difficult for you to get the correct option. So learn the meaning of words. For example, let's look at this question. It says, from his narration, the truth is obvious. Now, the underlined word is obvious, so we are expected to interpret obvious based on this sentence. Now, let's look at the options. A, he has told the truth. B, he is hiding a fact. D, he is aiding and abetting. He is aiding and abetting. D, the truth is clear. Let's look at the question again, the sentence. From his narration, the truth is obvious. We are looking for obvious. The truth is obvious. A, he has told the truth. That's not what we are concerned about. That's not what we've been asked to do. He has told the truth. That's not our business. What we're told is that the truth is obvious. He is hiding a fact. Not our business. It wasn't mentioned here. Option C, he's aiding and abetting. Aiding and abetting is a legal term. It means being aware that a person is doing a crime or has done a crime, and then you're not saying anything, so you've aided and abetted that crime. Nothing suggests that in this sentence. That's why I said interpret the sentence as it is. They don't need our input. So we don't care whether his truth meant that he's aiding and abetting. That's not our business. Option D says the truth is clear, and that is the correct option. From his narration, the truth is obvious. Something that is obvious is something that is clear. Now you see how our knowledge of the meaning of the word obvious helped us to answer this question. From his narration, the truth is obvious. That means the truth is clear. Now, with these tips, you can answer any question you find on interpretation of words and expressions. So now we are going to answer questions. Question 1. You are to write a report and give it to the security office. I read again. You are to write a report and give it to the security office. Option A. After writing your report, give it to the security office. Option B. You are writing a report as the security office directed. Option C. The report you are writing should be given to the security office. Option D. You have been ordered to write a report which you will give to the security office. Now the correct option is option D. The sentence already suggests that this person in question was given an instruction. So that is why you have been ordered to write a report. Not just write a report, you write it and then you will give it to the security office. Now, a person might ask, why is B not our answer? You are writing a report. No, why is C not our answer? Sorry, the report you're writing should be given to the security office. No. Now, let's look at that sentence again. You are to write a report. That means, just like I said earlier, this person has been directed to, has been ordered to write a report. So D is the correct option. Question 2. The school football tournament holds biennially. Now, the word we are supposed to interpret here in this sentence is biennially. And it means something that happens once every 2 years. Now, let's look at our option. It holds once every year. No. Option B. It holds twice every 2 years. No. That's not the meaning of biennially. So, that's wrong. Option C. It holds once every 2 years. This is the correct option. Option D. It holds twice in a year. This is wrong. The correct option is option C. An event that happens biennially holds once every 2 years. Now you see that knowing the meaning of this word is what helped us to answer the question. Question 3. Ibrahim made me feel small. Remember when I said that some expressions, many English expressions, are not interpreted on the surface. They are not interpreted literally. So you can look at feel small and begin to imagine someone who was taller being made short. No. Ibrahim made me feel small. Now let's look at the options. A. Ibrahim made me look stupid. B. Ibrahim made me to look humble. C. Ibrahim made me feel relevant. And D. Ibrahim made me feel unimportant. The correct option is option D. To feel small is to feel unimportant. To feel unimportant, to feel less of yourself. So the correct option is option D. That is the correct interpretation of this sentence. My husband is my life, the woman declared. Let's look at the options. Option A, he is the most important person to her. Option B, he donated blood to save her life. Option C, he rescued her from a domestic accident. Option D, the woman is on life support. Now, we cannot say that because there is life in this sentence, so we'll say that he donated blood to save her life. No. or that he rescued her from a domestic accident. No, we were not given that detail, and we are only dealing with what we've been given. So saying that someone is your life is referring to how important the person is to you. Of course, your life is very important to you. And so the correct option is option A. Her husband is the most important person to her. Question 5. There are so many bookshops close at hand. Close at hand. Let's look at our options. Option A, there are many closed bookshops. This is wrong. You cannot say because there's close in that sentence, so there has to be close in the interpretation. Option B, the bookshop can be reached easily. Option B is the correct answer. For something to be close at hand, that means it is within your reach. It can be reached easily. Option C says the bookshop can be reached with difficulty. No. Option D, the bookshops are well stocked. We weren't given that information. The correct option is option B. To be close at hand simply means that it can be reached easily. Question 6. Mr. Udo's diary is an indispensable record. Let's keep our focus on the word indispensable. We are supposed to interpret that word in this sentence. Option A, his diary is irreplaceable. Option B, his diary is indestructible. Option C, his diary is immovable. Option D, his diary is indigestible. The correct option is option A, his diary is irreplaceable. To be indispensable is to be irreplaceable. Question 7. You must not attend the end of year party. Let's look at the options. Option A. It is not necessary that you attend the party. Option B. It is necessary that you do not attend the party. Option C. You do not have to decide whether to attend the party or not. Option D, you have to decide whether to attend the party or not. Remember that in interpreting sentences, we are looking for the one that best explains it. The correct option here is option B. It is necessary that you do not attend the party. What this sentence simply means is, of course, you can attend the party, but what we are saying is, it's not a must. It is necessary that you do not attend the party. You must not be in that party. So it is necessary that you do not attend the party. Let's look at question 8. If I left the country, I would arrange for my family to join me. By this sentence, we already know that what we are looking at has not happened. If I left the country, it is still conditional. That means this is what I would do if I get to leave the country. If I left the country, I would arrange for my family to join me. Let's look at the options. He left the country and his family joined him. In the event of option B, in the event of leaving the country, his family would join him. Option C, he did not leave the country and his family did not join him. Option D, he may not leave the country. The correct option here is option B. In the event of his leaving the country, his family would join him. What this simply means, he's telling us what he would do if he leaves the country. So if he leaves the country, his family would join him. We cannot take option A, he left the country. No, it's still if. It's a conditional thing. It has not happened. So we cannot conclude. We were not given that in this sentence. We'll not run ahead of them and say he left the country and his family joined him. We also cannot take option C. He did not leave the country and his family did not join him. No, you cannot conclude. We were not told that in this sentence. You also cannot choose option D. He may not leave the country when it's not a curse. No. So we are sticking to what we've been given. If I left the country, I would arrange for my family to join me. Simply means in the event of his leaving the country, his family would join him. Question 9. Wouldn't it have been better to accept the referee's decision, Tunde? Now, let's look at the options. Option A, Tunde did not agree with the referee. Option B, the referee's decision was fair. Option C, Tunde had to accept the referee's decision. Option D, the referee's decision was better than Tunde's. Wouldn't it have been better? Now, that means we are referring to something that has happened. So, it simply means that Tunde did not accept the referee's decision. That makes option A the answer. Wouldn't it have been better? So now it is in retrospect that they are saying this. Probably, it would have been better if you chose the referee's decision, but he didn't. So the sentence that best explains it is option A. Tunde did not agree with the referee. Of course, it's possible that the referee's decision was better than Tunde's, but that is not the interpretation of this sentence. So we are looking for the one that explains. So that is why we cannot choose option D and say that the referee's decision. No, it implies that, but we are not concerned with that. We are concerned with interpreting the sentence as it is. And that leaves us with the answer, option A. Tunde did not agree with the referee. Question 10. You had better do as the doctor says and stay in bed. Let's look at the options. Option A. It is better to stay in bed when listening to the doctor. This is incorrect. Option B. It is wiser to listen to the doctor than to stay in bed. No, this is incorrect. Option C. It is wiser to wait in bed for the doctor. No, it is incorrect. Option D. The wisest thing to do is to stay in bed. Option D is the correct option. Let's look at the sentence again. You had better do as the doctor said. And what did the doctor say? The doctor said to stay in bed, and that is the wisest thing to do. So the sentence that best explains it is the option that best explains the sentence is option D. The wisest thing to do is to stay in bed. Question 11. I owe you far less than you owe me. Now this is in comparison. I owe you far less than you owe me. Let's look at the options. Option A, my debt to you is greater than yours to me. Option B, your debt is not much greater than mine. Option C, what we owe each other is approximately the same. Option D, I owe you something, but you owe me much more. Option D is the correct answer. To say I owe you far less than you owe me, that means I am owing you, but what you owe me is much more than what I owe you. Option D is the correct answer. Question 12. If the rain hadn't fallen, we wouldn't have missed the match. Now we are looking at two things in the past. What this sentence simply means is that rain fell and they missed the match. Let's look at our options. Option A, the rain is falling, so we will miss the match. No, this is incorrect. Option B, the rain fell, so we didn't watch the match. This is the correct option. Option C, the rain fell, so we watched the match. No. Option D, the rain didn't fall, so we didn't watch the match. No. The correct option is option B. The rain fell, so we didn't watch the match. Let's look at that sentence again. If the rain hadn't fallen, we wouldn't have missed the match. So that means the rain fell, and that is why we missed the match. So our correct option is option B. Question 13. I think she takes her guidance support for granted. Let's look at the options. Option A, her guidance has been helping her for a long time. Option B, she wants her guidance to grant her more support. Option C, she thinks her guidance will no longer support her as he has been doing. Option D, her guidance has been helping her for a long time, but she does not show gratitude. The correct option is option D. To take something for granted is to not show gratitude for it, to not be grateful as you ought to. So, her guidance has been helping her for a long time, which is the support, but she does not show gratitude. Option D is the correct option. Let's look at question 14. He had hardly spoken when the bell rang. Our options: option A, he found it difficult to speak and then the bell rang. Option B, when the bell rang, he was still speaking. Option C, the bell rang very soon after he spoke. Option D, he spoke in a harsh manner and the bell rang. The correct option is option C. The bell rang very soon after he spoke. Now you cannot say because there's hardly in this sentence, so that means he found it difficult to speak. No. Now hardly here talks about scarcity. It simply means that he had hardly spoken. That means almost when he started speaking, very soon after he started speaking, the bell rang. So that makes option C our correct option. Question 15. The crisis ended as suddenly as it began. Option A, the crisis had suddenly begun. Option B, the crisis will not end suddenly. Option C, the crisis stopped almost immediately. Option D, the crisis will stop immediately. The correct option is option C. Now remember, we're dealing with past tense. The crisis ended as suddenly as it began. That means it started, but it ended almost immediately. So because it ended almost immediately, we're not going to say that it did not start or that it just stopped. What best explains this sentence is option C, that the crisis stopped almost immediately. You need to practice more on questions regarding interpretation of words and expressions. And to do this, just download Efiwe app and you will have access to practice as many questions as you can to help you in your understanding of words and expressions in English language. Thank you for watching.